We got.
That's why she missed the fantasy show.
Look, and she sent me the Google Hangouts response. No reason. No, I'm gonna be late from work or nothing like that, because it was none of my business until she came home from the worst date ever.
It wasn't none of your business.
Comfort food.
Damn pound cake.
Hey, don't hate on the lemon pound cake. Don't hate. Homemade. I made it yesterday.
Is Ed Orgeron indulging in comfort food right now?
He might be, but we knew that was coming. We said if he gonna leave if they don't hire him. So
yeah. I mean, he was.
He resigned already, didn't he?
Oh yeah, the same night, soon as he was like, "What? Oh, I'm out. You ain't gotta pull me off the bus. I'm stopping the bus." You know?
Yeah, tarmac for me.
No, they let him get off the bus because they made him an offer to be an assistant coach.
Well, see, that's the funny thing about all that. I've been since I heard about this yesterday. I was like, okay, I can't wait to have my little 2 cents on this one. A lot of the media reaction, especially like what I heard on Mike and Mike this morning, I was like, nah, man, y'all don't really get it, do you? Because it's, first of all, the athletic director says to him, we're going to go in a different direction, but I want you to be the assistant head coach, and we're going to give you all this money. Okay, that's great. That came from the athletic director. Did it come from, that came from Pat Hayden. Did that come from Steve Sarkisian himself?
No, probably not.
No.
Because if it didn't, come the end of January, none of that means nothing. That man shows up and has his own people. Basically, what they want him to do is hang on, try and win the bowl game, and make sure this recruiting class comes in home.
Of course.
And after that, they got no need for him.
Yeah.
So, of course he's going to leave. I mean, even if he ain't got nothing out there waiting for him, you know, at least he could probably wind up in a position somewhere else if he walks now, other than hanging around to the end of... I mean, and that's another thing. Everybody in the room knows this. I'd be insulted. Not so much that they didn't give me the job, but the fact that they're going to sit here and try and play me like that.
Right. I mean, to be an assistant coach. And not only that, you're talking about you're going in a new direction. Are you really? Because isn't the coach they hired Lane Kiffin's boy?
Well, just I wouldn't draw too many.
Aren't they homies?
Lines attaching that. Well, hold on. When Ed Orgeron,
they know each other a little bit.
They've all worked together. When Ed Orgeron took the Mississippi job, you know who he tried to hire as his offensive coordinator?
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. So
is Lane Kiffin coming
basically,
back
if these guys, this is how they go.
No, stop it.
Yeah, good question.
So Lane Kiffin's gonna be back as offensive coordinator.
I guess my thing is, if you're gonna pick
the dude with the Raiders,
if you're gonna pick the dude that you picked from Washington, you should have just stuck with what you had. I mean, what is he? What's the big splash about this cat, man? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I ain't got no real problem with him myself. I mean. Other than, I guess, like I said, he fits the image. He's presidential. He's coachadential. He's going to be good at the pancake socials and all that stuff. Only thing about this is, though, I think we were talking about it a few weeks back. I thought there'd be a few more selections of potential landing spots for him than has actually opened up. Like, I'm going to be honest, I thought Muschamp was done at Florida. All they did was they asked him to offer up a sacrificial lamb, so he gave up his offensive coordinator. He's going to be back. I didn't think Sumlin was going to leave A&M.
Yeah, when we talked about that, when Jason brought that up, I was like, I didn't think that was going to go down. He's going to stay there.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to go anywhere. And if he did, it was going to be Austin. And Austin hasn't, Texas hasn't said what their plans is with Mac Brown just yet, so... I'm sure they're asking him real nice to retire, but
are they asking him real nice? Are you sure?
Right now, it's real nice. Now, once they figure out how this bowl situation is going to fall, it might not be so nice. So, we'll see.
Yeah. So, well, you got number 2. You got Auburn. You got Ohio State.
I hate to say it, but I'm going to go with Ohio State.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But I mean, because if you're with me, then you're gonna say the same thing I'm saying. nobody on outside of Columbus, maybe Cleveland, wants to see Ohio State in the national championship game. Everybody is rooting for Michigan State this weekend,
including Jason. Including Jason, because he don't want to see it either. He said it last week, and I was cracking up. I was like, yeah, man. I like I said, you know, this whole Auburn and Missouri, the comedy in this for me is the fact that nobody's giving Missouri any props at all. They just like, yeah, you got one loss. I'm like, dude, double overtime to South Carolina, who's in the top 10. And nobody's talking about, and they got a good football team. They got a good team.
Well, you know, you want to know why nobody's talking about them? Is because they were not good last year with most of the same personnel. They were kind of beat up. They had some injuries. Some dudes just flat out had bad season. And, you know, they're coming from the Big 12, which was considered a little brother conference. Not to Big 12 people, but compared to the SEC, they came in and exactly what everybody expected to happen to them happened to them. So a lot of folks are kind of in denial about them, like, nah.
That's a good word. That's a real good word. That's a real good word. But I mean, let's put it in perspective. If they go out here and beat Auburn, I don't care how they beat them. They can beat them by a point. If they beat Auburn, and they only loss is in a double overtime game against South Carolina, who's legit, and you played a decent SEC schedule, and Ohio State goes out here and either stinks it up winning, barely wins, you telling me that Missouri don't deserve a shot?
I'm with you. I
mean, why not? Again, why not? You gave Notre Dame a shot last year, regardless if they was undefeated. You knew they were there. We knew they weren't that good. We knew that.
Well, the thing about
that's who we thought they were.
The worst thing with Notre Dame was it wasn't so much the lack of teams that were the teams that were in contention that you know fell out of contention. It was so many teams just refused to win, and they didn't have a choice but to put Notre Dame up there.
Yeah,
I mean, how many teams were like standing in line not to take care of Oregon?
He's telling the truth. A lot of teams was right there. They were right there. And look, and I got
LSU.
And think about it. Just a couple years ago, you put Alabama in there with one loss, and they didn't even win the conference tournament.
Yeah, Alabama went last year with one loss, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, but at least,
but they won the conference.
But they won the conference. But 2 years ago, you put them in. So there's absolutely to me, unless Ohio State somehow, and I'm just saying this from a perspective of saying I agree I think Ohio State should just get a chance to play, but unless they go out here and just blow it,
no, they should be number 2 until whatever happens.
Until further notice. But if they go out here, this paint a scenario, they beat Michigan State by 3 touchdowns or 3 scores. And
so what?
So do we put the SEC winner still? To me, is it almost like default? It doesn't matter what Ohio State does. It's like the SEC winner's going to go because that's what everybody keeps kind of saying. Like, seems like every year we got to have an SEC team in it.
They keep blaming Ohio State's. They're big on the strength of schedule thing.
Well, it's true, but
and the Pac-10, they're in the Pac-10, right?
No, Ohio State, they're Big Ten.
Big Ten.
That's what Big Ten. Sorry, it was one of them 10s. The Big Ten.
And it ain't even.
But they got 12.
It's terrible.
Anyway,
it's terrible.
And the 12 has 10. Go for it.
12 has 10, yeah.
It does. Yeah, Big 12 has 10.
I mean, keep this in mind. This is the same conference that Nebraska, I believe, got ran out of their own stadium by Iowa this weekend.
Yes.
It's a pitiful. It's about as bad as the NBA, the Eastern Conference right now in the NBA. It's that bad.
Yeah. I mean, I said it a couple weeks ago. Everybody knew the Big Ten was not going to be good this year. It's going to be Ohio State, if we were lucky, Michigan, Wisconsin, and you would hope a dark horse showed up. Wisconsin didn't get it done.
They were not
bad, but then they turned around and got ran by Penn State this week.
That's what I'm saying.
They did.
Michigan has been bad, and they still almost beat Ohio State. I mean, basically, on the whole, the conference has been worse than people thought. It's like, okay, they're going to be bad. Oh, no, they're gassing.
And the only reason Michigan went for 2 is because they know they're not good. So they was just trying to get the game over with. If that game goes overtime, you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Well, how come nobody told Nick Saban that?
Well,
But here's the thing.
I'm not getting on Nick Saban. I'm not.
But here's the thing.
I don't even like him.
Nick Saban. Let's talk about Nick for a moment, because you argued for that 1 second, and now you wish you had that back.
No, you don't.
Because here's the thing. He clearly had the better team, although they had not played like it for the majority of the day. Play for overtime, man. Y'all are going to win that game. You've got the better team. Go for that.
Trust your boys, man.
57 yards. 57 yards, and your kicker to miss like 1,200 field goals, so you put in a different kicker.
How many times you see somebody run that kick back in college? Come on, in your lifetime, how many times you seen that?
Okay, but we've only seen it like once in the NFL. My point is, it only takes one time.
Pete, you want to know?
And it only takes a 57-yarder to fall over the goalpost. It's Alabama. What makes me think that ball wouldn't somehow float over the goalpost? It's Alabama. Either way, it's like what?
Because the only thing they couldn't do this year was kick.
I mean, I don't disagree with the logic you guys are saying. I'm saying you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. If you play for overtime and lose, then someone will say, well, he might have been able to make the kick. I mean, come on.
I would have said that.
I would have said that.
All I'm saying is tackle the man.
57 yards, I completely understand.
Tackle the man. I don't care if you are fat. You're supposed to be fat and fast. Tackle him.
Yeah,
you're college.
But you know what?
You're number one recruit.
They weren't fat and fast.
They weren't fat and fast. They were fat and shocked. Is what they were. They were.
That's
fat
the problem.
Shocked.
They should have did a Mike Tomlin. Saban should have been a Mike Tomlin and got on the sideline. Oh man, he was running on the other sideline.
No, he ran on the other sideline.
He was on the other sideline. No way to jump in there.
I'm sitting there. We walking. I'm in the restaurant. We actually was in Vegas this weekend. I'm over there, and we walking out, and she was like, "You want to watch the game?" I was like, "Nah." I said, "It looks like they're going, overtime." Then I saw them line up. I saw them line up for the kick. I still didn't watch it. I was like, I don't even care. I was like, whatever. As soon as we walk away, like 2 minutes later, the entire restaurant just starts roaring. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I walked back, and the dude was like, he ran the kick back. I was like, what kick? They kicked the field goal. He's like, no, he ran the field goal back. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And then I thought about it. I said, you fat guys couldn't catch the little guy. Come on, man. Catch the little dude, man.
Catch the little guy.
They were in shock.
You want to know why you don't see that in the college ranks all that often? Because the moment they see that guy line up underneath the goalpost, they either go ahead and let the time run out, take the delay of game, or they call the timeout and either decide to run it out. And another thing too is you don't really see it in in-game situations anyway. It'll be like at the end of the first half or something like that. So I mean, for the most part, coaches see the guy line up, they're like, "Nah, we ain't doing this. We know them dudes can't cover this."
And we've not practiced this, we've not rehearsed it, nothing. But let me tell you something, them Auburn boys had practiced that before. Because before he even got out the end zone good, he was like maybe he was out the end zone like 5 yards, 10 yards. Them boys had built him a solid wall. I was like, wow, they got their block. You sure they didn't practice this? I think they practiced it a lot.
Well, what I'm saying is, when they lined up for the kick, there was there's no reason to try to block the 57-yarder. So you're going to line up and set up a return. All I'm saying is, tackle the man. I don't care if you are fat. You're supposed to be a number one recruit. Damn it.
He was too. He was a number one recruit.
Those boys' waistlines, Pete.
But what I'm saying, everybody was like, you got 8 fat big guys and 3 little guys and the kicker it in. I'm like, how many times we seen the kicker make tackles? The punters make tackles, so the kicker couldn't get to. Come on, man.
Not at Alabama.
Make the tackle. And the other thing I was gonna say is real quick too is the only reason I would give him a pass in the sense of me from the standpoint of not wanting to go to overtime, because we even seen already the BS that Auburn has pulled off. So I don't care if they did have the better team. I think Nick Saban was basically like, let me try to get out of this before something happened. Oops, something did happen. He was probably thinking, if I go to overtime, something gonna happen, and I'm gonna try. So let me try this kick. Think about it, how they been winning. Think about the tying touchdown. The tying touchdown. This man comes off bootlegs. Ooh, fooled you. I was like, what? I was like, man, Auburn's got something going on, man. But we're gonna see if it keeps going against Missouri. We're gonna see.
Hey, luck counts. Okay. Well, you know what I say, luck counts.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky and good.
Yeah.
What else is up? Wait, speaking of, hold on. So let's talk about Mike Tomlin.
Oh boy.
Did they get it fined? Did they fine him?
Not yet.
They were still talking about it. They haven't said, but they said that it might be 6 digits.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, let me just say
there's a discussion about a draft pick.
Let me just say that I didn't see it.
They're not. Neither did he. He didn't see it himself. I guess
that's what he claims.
They said the draft pick probably won't happen, but they did say he's going to get at least $100,000 fine at least.
Yeah.
And, I ain't got no problem with that. I saw the replay of it, but I didn't see it as it happened.
No, I didn't see it as it happened either. I mean, I wasn't really watching. I didn't even really watch the late game Thursday night because we was packing and stuff. But when it happened, what I do like is Jacoby Jones's response. I don't know if you heard that. When they asked, they said, they had him and I forgot the linebacker that's out there playing with them. No, it was another. Is it a linebacker? I forgot, but they had him out there. You know, they gave him the turkey leg or whatever, and he was talking to him, and they said, Jacoby, so did you see Mike Tomlin when you was running back? And Jacoby Jones was like, I ain't see him. And he's like, it don't matter. He's like, man, he's like, I got caught. And he was like, what do you mean? He said, man, I got caught. He said, that's like Usain Bolt losing a race. I don't care about Mike. I got caught. I was laughing. I was like,
he was like, I can't believe they caught me.
He was like, they caught me. I ain't cared about him. They caught me. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
He was like, I've never been caught before. He felt some kind of way about it. But I like Tom Jackson's answer because they were talking about the fine and everything. And they were like, well, because the runner was forced to change his position because Mike Tomlin was in the way, blah, 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 blah. And Tom Jackson said, man, if you got a direct path to the end zone, and the man's in your way, run him over. So just run him over. I'm with Tom Jackson on that. He's like, if he's not in the right place, he said you could have just ran him over. He said, don't change your direction. You're in the field to play. Keep running.
Yeah, but at the same time,
run over a referee.
Yeah, they run over referees all the time. Mike Tomlin wasn't supposed to be in the little white area, so plow him down.
Well, you said in white area, he put his foot across that line.
Yeah, his foot was across, but he wasn't supposed to be there.
Clipped. That's what I said. You got that thing clipped.
Right. So,
wasn't there talk about a rules change that if a player or a coach did that sort of interference, the ball would automatically be placed on the 1 yard line? I don't know if they went there, but no, but I thought. But the rule I thought the rule was already in place that they could determine it was a clear path. You could call it a touchdown. I thought that was in there. Okay,
yeah, it's supposed to be a clear path rule for that. Mm-hmm. If they can, and I think that play now is reviewable, so that they can determine if that person had a clear path and was going to go, because Yeah, so, but I like I said, Mike Tomlin, I mean, if he's willing to put his body out on the line like that, I mean, we've seen coaches get ACL tears and crutches, broken legs from just a receiver falling out of bounds on somebody. If he's willing to put his body out there like that to stop
guys just walking through the stretches.
Yeah. I'm just saying, the guy coming full stride, a 215-pound receiver, 6'2", 6'3", at full stride. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know if he did. I doubt if he did it on purpose. But if he did, it don't matter. They're gonna still slap. They're gonna slap his hand real hard on this one. They're gonna get him.
Yeah.
They're gonna get him.
It came at a bad time with the whole Jason
Bad Omar Epps.
Yeah, did you see that Jason Kidd? What was that bull crap about?
Jason Kidd clearly looked at his player and said, hit me. Clearly he said hit me.
He was trying to get an extra timeout or something, they said?
They were out of timeout. And so
how do you run out of timeouts in the NBA?
You get 20 of them.
How do you run out of timeouts in the NBA?
I don't know, because you get 20. You get 30 maybe.
Jason Kidd is a clown right now with the Nets, man.
I never understood what they were trying to do with that. I don't care if there is a history of
oh my God, that's
players
terrible.
being put to coaching.
I didn't
inside of a minute
that.
after that.
I mean, I get it. They like Jason Kidd. He was loyal for all them years, blah, blah, blah. The fan base loves him. But he has no coaching experience on the professional, collegiate, D-League level, nothing.
Well, I don't believe Pat Riley did either, but that's not the point.
Okay, but
anyway.
stop it. Okay, but stop it. Dude was fresh off retirement. Like he retired 2 weeks before they gave him the job.
I mean, and my thing,
he was playing and they gave him the job.
So, I'll give my 2 cents on that. A, they should have never hired Kidd. They should never hire him. You can throw whatever reason you want to throw in. The main reason you don't hire Jason Kidd in the situation, because typically when you're going to take a chance, okay, like for example, the Celtics hired Brad Stevens, right? Now they got, they sent off Pierce and Garnett, right?
Right.
You still got some young talent that they may not be championship talent, but you got Rondo, you got Jeff Green. These guys can play some ball. So what I'm saying is you've had success with the Celtics. You got championships. You put a young coach there to help him grow, and he's got a solid foundation behind him as far as a support. The fans are going to support regardless of what they do this year. The New Jersey Nets now, Brooklyn Nets, they don't have any successful history, nothing, except for the ABA. So now you're going to put Jason Kidd with a bunch of old cats that only going to play when they want to play. You got a coach killer in Deron Williams, and I love the dude's ball game. He can ball, but he's a coach killer. This man got Jerry Sloan to retire. Are you kidding me? So you're going to put him, and then you got Brook Lopez, who forgets he's 7 feet at times. He thinks he's 6'2", and say, "Kid, go coach this." And now you out here faking timeouts. Someone throw a drink on me or spill my drink. What the heck,
yeah,
man?
Bump it. He said, "Hit me," and his player bumped into him, and he spilled the drink. So they had to clean the floor. So that gave an extra time.
To call a
They
play.
should have just. They should have just.
But it
brought
didn't work because they still lost. The play he threw up was bad.
They should have just brought Calipari back to the Nets at this point, man. Just to get rid of Kidd. They just fired
they could have brought in Rich Cote.
Dude, you fired Avery. You fired Avery Johnson in Limelight a year later for Jason Kidd? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh man.
Pete Carroll was fired for Rich Cote.
And then the NBA, the East is so bad right now. There's only 2 teams over 500. Are you terrible? 2 teams over 500.
The Pacers and
the Heat.
Oh yeah, the Heat.
That's all you get.
The usual suspects.
Yeah, the Pacers and the Heat.
Oh.
So is that gonna be our NBA Eastern Conference championship again?
You know what? The funny thing is, when you look at like the different sports, and we can say like, one of the major differences between football and basketball is, no matter what you see on paper and what you call in football, somebody's gonna throw a monkey wrench in your plan. Usually with basketball, what you see
is what you get.
What you're gonna probably get. So what you see right now is probably be the Pacers and the Heat, right? And in the West, it's a crapshoot because all the teams are good. They're playing good now. Right. In my opinion, you're gonna have about 3 or 4 teams that's gonna separate themselves. Of course, you gotta wait for injuries and all of that stuff.
Right.
But if the Pacers, anybody on their team can get injured except Paul George and LeBron, and they're gonna be okay in the East. You know what I'm saying? Even if Roy Hibbert got hurt for the Pacers, I still think they can still wind up being a 2 seed. But if Paul George gets hurt, now you're talking about something. Other than that, it's the Pacers and the Heat in the East. Unless LeBron or Paul George get hurt, it's them 2. It ain't nothing else to talk about. Yeah, man. Real quick, so are the Saints that bad? Or are the Seattle Saints that bad on the road outside?
Yes.
Or are Seattle that good at home?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like Drew Brees. Since 2009, we got the best road record. All right, and since 2009, 2011, and since 2000, he was like, the only other team that got a better record than us is the Patriots. Okay, and I got a Super Bowl since then. Don't be talking trash about my team. Drew Brees is hot.
You know what? And then Drew Brees was softer than a baby's bottom, just like the rest of his team last night.
Here's what I know.
Them dudes got slapped. Them dudes got jail slapped.
I ain't even watched the game.
I stopped after the first, about midway through the second quarter.
I flew in. I got home about like 9:30, and I cut on the game and saw the score, and I was like, wow, and I just cut it right back off.
Well, no, because like I watched the first quarter because I
saw the press conference.
Let me see what's going on, and then the Saints scored, so I was like, okay, 17-7, it's still a game, not bad. And then they immediately let the Seahawks score again. And I was like, well, I'm going to tap out on this because it's halftime. And then
the Saints tapped out not much longer after you did.
Yeah, they tapped out.
And then I turned the game back on at the very end of the game, and it was like 34-7. I was like, good Lord.
That was the Saints.
It was awful. But here's my thing. Before this game, I kept trying to think who in the NFC could go to Seattle and beat Seattle. And until last night, it was the Saints.
Now you gotta have to say it. Say it. You
it's nobody.
It's nobody? No. That's not what I'm getting to.
There is one.
There is one team.
Who?
You ain't got to look far to find them.
The Panthers? Are y'all serious?
I'm very serious.
I'm dead serious.
I'm dead serious.
They match up well.
They got a shot. I'm telling you. They match up better than San Francisco against them. They match up better. I'm telling you, Lonice.
We've already seen that game.
You saw it. You saw it week 2.
No, you saw it week 1.
Week 1.
No,
and they barely. And Seattle didn't only score what? 11 points? 12 points? 10.
It was 10-9.
Okay. Okay.
It was 10-9. But here's the thing: the Panthers only scored 9. You're going to need to score more than you were going to need to score more than that. Yes, the Panthers have a defense that travels.
Lonice, that was 14 weeks ago. That was 3 months ago. Look what they're doing now.
The question is, do they have a shot?
Do they have a shot? The answer is
no. Because I don't have faith in their offense. Damn it, somebody's got to score. Okay. Damn it, somebody's got to score. Now, unless their defense goes up there and gets Russell Wilson to turn the ball over and they score for the Panthers, Cam Newton in the offense does not travel well. And damn it, they're not going to travel well to Seattle. I'm going to put that out there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying they're no. I'm not going to say they're going to win. No, I'm not going to sit here and say.
I've seen them win 8 games in a row. That's what I've seen.
Okay, but they won 8 games in a row. Consider their competition. They still haven't played the Saints yet. They got to play them twice.
Seattle defense is the same defense that let the Rams run all over them. They let the Colts run all over them. The same defense.
But
and look what the Colts are doing now. The Rams was in Seattle for a little bit. And remember, Tampa Bay was on that.
They beat them
for 3 quarters. But you act like the Panthers can't be what Tampa Bay is for 4 quarters?
What the Panthers
could happen.
But we're not talking about in Tampa Bay or in Carolina. I'm talking about in Seattle.
They did it in Seattle. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
The game had to come back. Okay. But that was, as y'all say, that was like 6-7 weeks ago. It wasn't last week.
That was only 3.
It was 4 weeks. It was 4 weeks.
Nevertheless, that was back then. So as y'all say, all I'm saying is this.
It's not as bad. It's not as egregious as you're saying, I guess.
I don't believe this is. Yeah,
I'm not saying that they're gonna win with these. I'm
not gonna say they're gonna roll
like
in
it's
there
like not a shot.
Biscuits, but
okay.
I put it this way. I would expect Panthers to play better in Seattle than New Orleans did.
Than any other team left. Other team left.
You would like to think San Francisco, but we've already seen that.
I'd expect the Saints to play better the second time around if they got back there.
I don't.
I do.
I don't. And they was missing Browning.
You want to know why?
It might get worse.
Well, no.
Jeez.
But you know what?
He was scary. Give me the shakes.
He was my thing about New Orleans going in there, and everybody was like saying, well, you know, they're missing 2 of their secondary, and they're missing this, and they're not this, and what happens when you got to go to your 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th corner? I was like, it don't matter when Drew Brees is only throwing to one guy.
And
there was lots of bad coaching going on last night involved. I think if the Saints go back, not saying that they'll necessarily win, I expect them to play better. For one, like, work on a silent count. Stop trying to do the loud count in the stadium that got to 136 decibels. Really?
Man, they pumped
stop
it. Noise. They cheated.
They cheated.
How you gonna break the record every week now? Every week now we breaking the record. Oh, Kansas City got the record. Oh, they got the record. Man, please. I might have pushed the button and played something. Man,
there's a jet flying over there.
I was about to say there's some speakers with a lot of crowd noise from the game 3 weeks ago when they broke the record. Then give me a break, man. Man, they accused the Colts of doing that back in the RCA Dome. They accused the Colts of pumping in. And so when I finally got tickets to go to the game, that was one of the first things I was listening for. I was like, no, I don't hear nothing. We good. I was like, they cheating.
Shoot, I remember. You know what? I remember when Pete called me from the AFC Championship game. 2000 and
the year the Colts finally won.
The year they finally won, but in the first half, Pete called me in the middle of the second quarter, and it was quiet in there. I
called Lonice. I was like,
I'm listening to him now.
I said, man, Tony Dungy's about to get fired. It's about to be over. I was dead. We were dead serious. We was like, oh my God. We was like, Tony Dungy is going to get fired. And then they made that comeback, and it went from the quietest stadium I've ever been in to the loudest stadium I've ever been in. I could not talk when they won that game, man.
It was so funny. Wow. That dude called me at my house from the game, and it sounded just like I'm talking to y'all right now. That's how quiet it was.
That's terrible. That's bad. That's bad.
Oh, man.
You were like, it's over. You felt some kind of way for Tony, man?
Oh, my God. I was sad. I was literally sad. I was like, they are getting their butts kicked at home against the Patriots. And I'm like, you can't blame this on the weather. You can't blame this on, traveling to New England. The hospitality in Boston and being ugly or whatever. You can't blame it. You're right down the street from your house and you're getting ramrodded up and down this field. So
yeah, I remember that game because we were sitting in we were watching in a sports bar. A bunch of me and my coworkers, and we were all sitting there, and we too had the same feeling. Although we didn't have the quiet stadium that you have, we were all like, "Who are they gonna fire Tony Dungy?"
Oh my God, I was so afraid, man.
I thought Pete was gonna break out a book and catch up on his reading or something.
If it would have got worse in the third quarter, I would have left. I would not want to be there to see the end of Tony Dungy. I just couldn't. I couldn't take it. I'd have to go.
Could do it.
But when they showed some life in that, when they scored,
they got up to 10 points. Some life. They kicked
I was like,
field goal to get to 10-21.
They showed some life. I was like, all right, we got. I said, hey, it's Peyton. He'll
figure it out. Second half.
He'll figure it out.
Yeah, he'll figure it out. He better. But
and they did.
And they did.
And speaking of figuring it out, so he needs 10 more to break the record, 10 more touchdowns in 4 games. I'm gonna take the over on that. I'm going to take the over on that.
You going to take the over?
Get another shot
because I'm trying to think. He's got, one more game inside? Don't he got a game? Nah, they already played all the inside games, but he got a shot at the Chargers.
He's got the Chargers.
And he's got...
Did he have Oakland again?
No, they got Oakland. Yeah, they got Oakland next week, I think.
Yeah, they got the Chargers, Oakland.
No, not Oakland next week. They don't have Oakland next week because Oakland's playing somebody bad because I just picked them up in our fantasy league. Oakland's playing the Jets, I think, next week.
Oh.
Yeah, they are, because that's what I picked up. I got Oakland. They're playing the Jets. I think the Denver's got, I forgot who Denver got. But anyway, I'm taking it over. He's going to get 10. He'll get 10.
He gets 10.
He's going to get 10.
He might get 5 next week. I mean, come on now.
That's true.
Okay, but that being said, I heard something pretty interesting. I think it's somebody was tying it in relationship to the Heisman, but I guess it was having that Russell Wilson moment. It's like, is he in the conversation for MVP over Manning?
They're both in the conversation, but let's just be real about it. Let's be real about it.
Gonna win that.
He's going to win it. He's going to, if they hold off the 1 seed if they hold off the 1 seed from the Patriots and the other teams, he's going to win it. And Russell Wilson will have his time and have his due. But right now, everybody's talking about how hellacious the defense is. But the guy makes his team better on offense. We would not be talking about the Golden Tates and the Sidney Rices is and the Zach Millers, unless Russell Wilson was making plays.
That is the question, basically. We can talk about that defense all we want to. We can talk.
He's making those guys. He's making Bug Baldwin look like a freaking star. I mean,
how many games does Seattle win without Russell Wilson?
Yeah. Oh, well, put it this way. I wouldn't even say that, Prev, because I think they still could. I think they would still be a better than average team because that defense is that defense. I mean, they had pieces to that defense.
No, I mean, that's the question. No, that is the question. How many games? I'm not saying to make a point. That's the question. How many games do they win without Russell Wilson?
I'd say they still win 6 or 7. Out of the 10, they win 6 or 7.
Okay, so how many games do the Broncos win without Peyton Manning?
Well, if they had Tebow, they would win. Let me stop. All right.
Next week on the Nevertheless Project.
All
right, man. I'm out.
All right, y'all.
Good night.
Later, man.
Good night.
Peace.